Welcome back to Twisted Theater, where some houses aren't just haunted, they are alive. Tonight, I bring you the story of a house that waits, watches, and reshapes reality itself. Once you step inside, the line between life and nightmare disappears. This is the story of the house in the fog. The house in the fog. My friend Laura had always been drawn to abandoned places, fascinated by the silent histories whispered by crumbling walls, broken windows, and the smell of decay. When she heard about the Whitmore House, perched atop a lonely hill and often swallowed by dense, rolling fog, she couldn't resist exploring it. The locals avoided the hill entirely, muttering warnings that anyone who entered the house after the fog rolled in rarely returned the same, if they returned at all. But Laura dismissed their tales. She was confident, rational, fearless. She thought she would uncover a story, a photograph, maybe a forgotten diary. She never imagined the house would uncover her. The fog greeted her first, thick, wet, curling around her legs like cold fingers as she approached the house. It muffled all sound, obscuring the trees, the path, and even the horizon. The house loomed before her, tall and jagged, with windows like black eyes staring through the mist. She pushed open the front door, and the smell hit her. Dust, decay, and something faintly metallic, like blood long dried. The air inside was heavy, almost liquid, pressing against her lungs, making every breath a struggle. Shadows crawled along the walls, moving independently of the faint light that entered through cracked windows. She felt the house watching her, pulsing, creaking, groaning, responding to her fear. As she explored, the house began to twist reality. Hallways bent impossibly, staircases led to rooms she had passed before, and doors opened into spaces she had never seen. Mirrors reflected more than her image. Sometimes a pale face appeared behind her, hollow-eyed, grinning silently. Whispers began, low and guttural, calling her name, repeating secrets she had never told anyone, mocking her deepest fears. Furniture shifted when she wasn't looking. Walls stretched and contracted. The house seemed alive, feeding off her attention and her fear. Time lost all meaning. Hours became minutes. Minutes became days. She couldn't tell. She entered a kitchen, and it became a hallway, then a staircase, then a small, suffocating room whose walls pulsed like skin. Shadows reached out from the corners, tendrils brushing her arms, tugging at her hair. Footsteps echoed behind her, yet when she turned, no one was there. Then the voices multiplied, hundreds of them layered together, whispering, laughing, crying. They revealed her secrets, her regrets, twisting her mind until she could barely distinguish reality from hallucination. At one point, Laura stumbled into a room filled with photographs, all of her. Not just her face, but images of her sleeping, walking, even watching herself from angles she didn't remember being photographed. Some photos were torn, some burned, yet all unmistakably her. The whispers intensified. "You belong here, forever. Stay with us." She tried to flee, but the house resisted. Doors vanished, windows turned into walls, staircases descended into darkness. The fog from outside seemed to follow her inside, curling along the floors and ceilings, bringing the faint scent of wet earth and decay. Then the attic. She climbed the narrow stairs, which seemed to stretch impossibly, almost vertical. The ceiling sloped down as she entered. In the dim light, she saw shapes moving, tall, thin, humanoid forms with elongated limbs, pale, mottled skin, and eyes like black voids. They didn't approach physically, but she felt them pressing into her mind, reading her thoughts, learning her fears, dissecting her soul. Her own reflection in a cracked mirror morphed, grinning wider than humanly possible, whispering secrets she had never spoken. The house's hunger escalated. Every object seemed animated. A rocking chair rocked itself. Books fell off shelves in patterns. Doors slammed. Windows rattled. She could feel the house's awareness, tracking her, feeding off her panic. The walls themselves seemed to breathe, exhaling cold drafts that smelled faintly of decayed flesh, curling around her neck like icy hands. Every step was a trap. Every attempt to escape led her deeper into the house's maze. Eventually, she found a window that seemed to open into reality itself, but the world outside was distorted. Fog rolled endlessly, twisting shapes moved in it, whispers calling from beyond. The house laughed with hundreds of voices layered together, promising eternal companionship if she stayed, eternal torment if she left. Laura understood. The Whitmore house didn't kill, it collected. It trapped souls in its endless corridors, feeding on fear, curiosity, and despair, rewriting reality for those who dared to enter. Finally, she stumbled out into the fog outside, collapsing, gasping, drenched in sweat, shaking violently. But the house had left its mark. She could still feel it inside her mind, a presence that whispered at night, crawling along walls, appearing in reflections, and following her even outside. She warned me never to approach the Whitmore house, never to enter the fog alone, and never to dismiss local warnings. And now I warn you, if you continue watching this story, subscribe, like, and share this video because the house is patient, intelligent, and hungry. Perhaps tonight, if you wander too close to the fog or hear faint creaking in your walls, it will find you. And when it does, it will never let go. And that was the house in the fog. Some say the Whitmore house still stands, shrouded in mist, untouched by time, waiting for its next curious visitor. The fog around it never truly lifts. It breathes, it moves, it watches. Locals claim that on certain nights, when the air is heavy and the moon hides behind clouds, you can see faint lights glowing through its windows, flickering as though someone or something still walks its endless halls. Sometimes a silhouette appears behind the curtains. Sometimes a whisper drifts through the fog, soft and pleading, a voice that sounds eerily human. They say if you answer it, even in a whisper, you'll start to see the fog creeping closer to your own doorstep. No one has entered Whitmore House in decades, but the fog still rolls down the hill every autumn, swallowing sound and color, touching nearby towns like a living thing. Some residents wake to find their mirrors fogged from the inside. Others hear soft tapping at their windows at exactly 3:13 a.m., and a few never wake at all. So if you ever find yourself driving down a lonely road and you see an old house peeking through the fog, turn around, don't stop, don't stare too long, because once it notices you, it will never forget your face. This is Twisted Theater, where some doors don't need to be opened, they just need to remember you. And once they do, they'll make sure the fog finds its way to you sooner than you think.